The Financial Planner, presented by the Bombay Stock Exchange, IPF.
Hello and welcome to this week of Financial Planner. Well, we've been going through across with regard to secondary market, understanding various terms, various ways. How do you invest? How do you take step-by-step process in terms of, investing in a particular stock? But there are other terms which are also as important for you to understand to be an informed investor. And therefore with us today we have Sumit Vaid, who's been guiding all the viewers of Financial Planner for the longest time, and therefore we go ahead and talk about what is very important is called margin trading facility. You've been hearing about this, when you go to your stock broker, you must have looked at opening an account, and that is something your stock broker must have always spoken about with regard to margin trading facilities. Is that right, Sumit?
Thanks, Priya, for getting me back, and it's great to be back on Financial Planner, especially after a refreshing vacation. Financial Planner as a show is very close to my heart because here we keep stressing importance of financial plan to our viewers. Yeah. As you explained, whenever we go to our broker, many a time we hear this term being pushed to us by various relationship managers or broker. So why don't you open a margin trading account with us? In a very simplistic term, what it means for a lay investor / customer like us is that I need to buy certain stock. I don't have whole money for this. So it's a kind of loan the broker is ready to give me, whereby I'll put in some bit of money. The other bit of money will be given to me by the broker, and I'll go and buy that stock. So it's a kind of lending mechanism which broker really encourages you to use so that you can buy the stock. Why do brokers want you to use it? By doing this, you'll be able to buy much more than what you are able to buy yourself. So it's good for them. Why you should be cautious using it? Because as a financial planning logic, if we try and get into a situation in which we are over leveraged, in other words, we are buying something which we cannot afford, it can be a trouble.
Okay. My basic question before we delve deeper into margin trading. As a retail investor, when you're looking at investing in long term, and as a financial planner, that is something that you'd be advising most of your clients.
Yep.
Is this a mechanism or a facility essentially for someone who's a regular investor, trader, versus someone who's making equity investments or investing in equity shares as a part of a portfolio?
If you're a long-term investor, then margin trading doesn't fit into your schedule. You should not think about it, because what long-term investment has to really guide you is towards helping you live your financial plan. And your financial plan will have certain goals which you have articulated based on your dreams, and each of goals will have tenures. So those tenures are long-term tenures. For example, you are planning for your retirement, which is 15 years down the line, and for your retirement, the corpus which you need to generate in 15 years is 1 crore rupee, and over 10 years, if you save, let's say 30,000 rupees a month regularly, you'll be able to achieve that. Now that 30,000 should be invested from a long-term perspective into certain good quality stocks / businesses which have that potential over that period of time.
That's true.
Margin trading is not meant for you. On the other side, you have a financial plan in which you say, no, I am a aggressive risk-taking, ability-oriented investor. I understand stock market much better than many of the other, and as a conscious goal, I have a trading goal, which is by regularly investing / trading in stock market on an active basis, I'll generate X% of return, which will help me live some of my goals. If you have a trading goal, then margin trading fits into it.
All right. Now that we have, sort of have the caveat with us, now I'm going step by step and I'm understanding. So as an investor, I'm going to a stock broker who's trading on my behalf.
Sure.
Okay. So for example, I want to invest in a particular stock, which, for about 10 shares is coming at 200 rupees. I have 100 rupees. So the balance 100 rupees is what the stock broker chips in from my side. This, in simple words, is margin trading.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
But how does the broker get that 100 rupees? What are the rules, regulation, or any specifications with regard to that?
Currently in market, from a practical aspect, there are two systems working. One is a margin trading facility, which is prescribed as per SEBI, being followed by exchanges and brokers. The other is a concept known as loan against shares, which is many a time brokers use their non-banking finance company arms to really do that. Most prevalent in the market these days is loan against shares. Yes. So in a simple terms, you will go to a broker, and if you want to buy a stock worth 200, you will go and put in 100 rupees and buy that stock, and rest 100 rupees will be given as a loan to you. The collateral they'll use for that loan will be that first 100 rupees stock which you have bought.
Okay.
Is loan against shares.
Okay.
Either that because you are a first-time investor, and if you are a first-time investor, then the margin which they will be asking is much higher than the normal margin. It differs from client to client, it differs from broker to broker and time to time. If you're not a first-time customer with a broker and you have an existing demat account with broker and that demat account has shares lying in it, he might straight away go and tell you that current value of your shares which you are holding in this demat account is this. On these X many number of shares I can give you loan against, and I'll be able to give you a loan up to 50% of these shares. So it depends on what situation you are in.
Okay.
But simply put, it works at very simple level, loan against share, where shares are the collaterals.
So basically your broker has the shares as the collateral, your
True.
shares in your demat account.
That's right.
Okay. Now another bit that I want to understand from you is that there is always a limit, or as per SEBI prescribed, whatever SEBI has prescribed, there are limits as to how much a broker can lend or can
Sure.
give as far as margin facility is concerned.
Sure.
So is it better that when an investor who's looking at margin trading facility as an option,
Yeah.
or wants to tick that part,
Yep.
is looking at a stockbroker perhaps which has a wider reach, because that would make a wider pool of margin trading facility to be offered by a stockbroker?
Real great question, because this time these are the kind of nitty-gritties which investors get confused. As I said, there is one margin trading facility prescribed norms as per SEBI and all, okay, and the other one is a loan against shares kind of a concept. Majorly in market it has been seen it's loan against shares which is popular.
Okay.
Now loans against shares work like any other loan. You can take loan for white goods or for housing or whatever it is, and in these kind of scenarios, the non-banking finance company which is giving you loan come up with their own norms. So there is no uniform norms as an NBFC industry for loan against shares, which can be structured or clearly communicated in terms of trying to do that part.
Okay.
So what investors / our viewers need to be conscious about is when you go and sit with your broker or start your relationship with broker, please get it very, very clear. Go through all these contracts, go through all terms and conditions, compare it with the other market participants, do a detailed study, then take a call and then go in for that, because this is a tricky area. There's a lot of paperwork involved before you get into this. Do not delegate this paperwork to your relationship manager in a broking account and say, you take care, I trust you. No, you have to take care of your money. Nobody else can take care of your money. Once you go through it, then take the right call.
That's an important point, because I'm coming to another part. Is power of attorney, and we've discussed this at Financial Planner in a couple of episodes before, is power of attorney an important part when you're looking at margin trading facility?
Okay, this question becomes very interesting if who's answering it. If a broker is answering it, you say yes, it becomes a very, very important part. If a client is answering it, it becomes a very dangerous part. You need to understand the nitty and gritty of power of attorney, because many a time, especially in a free fall of market, it gets really misused. We are repeatedly seeing so many grievances coming from various clients and saying that I had used loan against shares, I have used margin trading, and suddenly market fell by certain points over the next 3-4 days, and so many stocks were sold without even informing me, and I'm not able to buy them. So it's a dangerous one, and as I said, any paperwork, especially as important as power of attorney, really make sure you go through them in line-to-line basis before you sign that.
Okay, now that we've discussed margin facility in depth, we're not talking about short selling and securities lending and borrowing, terms that also are very, something that we hear quite often.
True.
But just want to touch base, because that's not something that most of the retail investors are directly concerned with. Is that correct?
That's very correct, and again the word which you are using is investors. Investors in financial planning parlance are the long-term investors, who have a goal, who have a financial plan, they're trying to achieve it over a period of time, hence you are known as investor. If you have a goal as a trader, then terms like short selling and lending against share, etc., becomes much more relevant. And as the term is borrowing and lending against shares, it's a simple terms, where you can borrow against the existing shares which you have, or you can lend, and this system has been in existence in India for some part of time, but somehow it has not picked up in big way.
It's short selling essentially is for your derivative side. Is that correct?
I don't want to get into that because it confuses retail investors. So let's say lending and borrowing mechanism in India is there for some time. It hasn't really picked up because we have a very vibrant future and options market. Today you can use a future to short sell. And many a time we have seen Indian investors slash customers using futures rather than direct stocks, because in stocks you need to settle it in a day. So if I short sell, a very simple definition of short sell is, I'm selling without having the stock. So I don't have a stock of company A, I just sell it in the morning. As soon as market opens, I sell it with an expectation that it will go down. And when it goes down, I have to square off the position in the same day. I'll have to settle it in the same day. I can't carry off to the next day. If I carry off, I'll have to have a delivery, and it triggers various other things itself. So currently, these kind of things are being done through futures rather than doing through the physical kind of a thing itself. We have a robust system, but futures is giving much better. But if you are a retail investor, please try and stay away from these things because it's very confusing, very difficult for you to understand. Please have a financial plan. Stick to your financial plan. Long-term investment really helps you generating return, provided you stick to your discipline and way of approach.
Well, on that note, we'll take a short break, Sumit, and I would request all the viewers, any question that you may have, basic question, please do write into us. Our numbers and our email address is flashing on your screen. We are happy here to address as basic question as you may have in order to make sure that you make informed decision. We take a short break. We'll be back to address your queries in just a bit.